Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm gonna talk about Star Trek. Now, my earliest memory of Star Trek, well, it's kind of difficult to explain. You see, I think so many things had to do with Star Trek when I was a kid. Of course, at the time I didn't understand it. Now, one example could be is that, well, when I was a kid, I remember me, my mother, aunt, and sister, we went, well, we entered this store in the mall, and I saw these figures of Star Trek characters. Of course, I really didn't know who they were at the time. And then, oh yes, when me and my family were living in Metro, Massachusetts, well, I did happen to find an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and well, as a kid, was kind of curious about that series. And then, when my aunt saw me watching it, she told me that it was about the future, and I stopped watching it because, well, as a kid, anything that takes place in the future would scare me. But I got over that as I got older. Now, then another example would be is that, oh yes, I remember when me and my family were at this mall, and I saw um, this group of people on a stage wearing Star Trek uniforms. Of course, at the time I still didn't understand the whole thing. Now, since the world didn't end in the year 2000 and finally got over my fear of the future, well, I did try to give the franchise a chance. One example would be that, well, I did see, well, the first time I saw full episodes of any Star Trek series was, well, episodes of the original Star Trek series from the 60s. Of course, I don't remember if it was on no, I think it was a sci-fi, yeah, not TV Land. Yes, and I, well, I guess I didn't get into it that much because, how old it was, and my mind still hasn't been developed for to appreciate uh, that kind of stuff yet. Oh, but I did manage to watch episodes of Star Trek the animated series when it would air on Saturday mornings on TV Land. Also, I mean, at the time I didn't know they made an animated series. Then of course there was Star Trek Voyager, and I think this was when I decided to give the first a chance with the series, but of course I guess at the time I was into it maybe because of an episode that was shown, or well, my mind still hasn't developed, the appreciation for it, at least not yet. And I did see now parts of some of the also the movies once in a while, but I never seen whole things. Now, the first time I bothered to watch whole episodes of Star Trek series, well, you see, after Power Rangers was no longer full episodes of Power Rangers was no longer available on YouTube for free, I thought I saw other shows in its place. I mean, I did see the first time around, but when I tried to watch it the second time around, I well, it was already moved. So eventually, I decided what was available, and then suddenly I finally got my own debit card, which means I could pay for Netflix, Hulu, and anything like that. And so then eventually I decided to watch Star Trek series, from beginning to end, at least, what was which came for which. And of course, I started with the original series. Oh, and you know that around this time, I was already an adult, so I decided to, watch the entire series franchise through. So I started with the original series, and while the special effects might not seem impressive, I think keep in mind that it was made in the 60s, so the technology they had back then was limited. Well, they were limited by the technology of their time, at least people who made the show back then. And it had some good stories as well. I mean, it wasn't going to be my favorite, but I do have respect for it because, without that series, the other ones that came after it wouldn't exist. And not only that, but with everything that's going on in the world right now, especially in this country, there was an episode of the original Star Trek series where Uhura had this line, which was, "In our century, we learn not to be afraid of words," which is, a good a phrase to learn by because, with so many people getting offended by things, we should just learn, do not let certain words bother us, like even if we don't agree, just, like that, just don't let it bother you. Now, after I finished watching the all seasons of that series, I did watch the animated series from the 70s as well. And yes, we only lasted for 2 seasons. Of course, the second season had less episodes than the first one. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I did start watching Star Trek series on Hulu. Now, next up, I did watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I did end up liking it better than the original series. I mean, I still respect the original. That I think the Next Generation had better quality, but it's because they had the technology that the original series didn't have. But you know what I mean? Yes. So and they had good stories too. And there is this this great scene of Captain Picard. He used diplomacy in a great way. In fact, there is a that scene is on YouTube, and just type in "this is how diplomacy works" or something like that. I mean, it just shows what kind of a great captain. I think he's the best captain, but he's very he's very professional what he does. And I'm also I remember like he say things like "Murder number one" or "Engage," and yeah, yes, and at I'm surprised this is the same guy who played Professor Xavier in the X movies. In fact, I kind of have this like I don't wonder if maybe like if they made a crossover with the X Men movies and started the next generation. That would be something. Now, the next Star Trek series that I watched afterwards was Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And unlike the others before it, it took place in a space station. So, I mean, yeah, they did explore other worlds through a wormhole, but most of the series, yes, takes place in a space station that revolves around the planet Bajor. And one of the things, one of the common things they did there was, they had the Ferengi quirk talking about Ferengi rules of acquisitions. And it'd be really funny if those who sell Star Trek stuff go for the same rules. I mean, using how things are at the beginning, but as the series went on, uh, there's been other changes. Like how some civilizations, like the Bajorans, Ferengi, their civilizations uh, has, have really started to change. As time went on. Let me have it here. Yes. Now, The next Star Trek series I saw was Star Trek Voyager, and that is my well, yeah, that was my favorite Star Trek series, at least. But at first, I didn't make anything official yet because I wanted to finish all the Star Trek series that was watched before I made a decision. But yes, yeah, Star Trek Voyager is my favorite Star Trek series of all time. Even though I didn't bother watching it, I mean, I didn't give it a chance when I saw it on TV. I did bother once I started watching it on Hulu, and I started to get a chance this time around. Well, each time, each episode, I was like, "Wow, this show is getting good." I mean, that was how I was feeling when I was watching it. And it's amazing that I didn't bother to appreciate it when I was younger. And only that, the series got better when 7 and 9 came along. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Star Trek Voyager, what made a difference from the previous Star Trek series was that while you're all about exploring new worlds, they Voyager were all about going back home, but explore world, during that time while they're at it. And 7 and 9 became my favorite character in the series. But I guess, as a guy, since I'm a guy, then don't know why. But I also like her personality too. I mean, at least the way she's portrayed. And then then after I finished Voyager, I started watching Star Trek Enterprise, and well, I mean, they had some good stuff, but also some stuff I wasn't into. But I did give it a chance, and then after watching all those Star Trek series I just mentioned, Voyager has become my favorite Star Trek series of all time. And if I could serve up any Star Trek ship, it would be the Voyager. I mean, before I thought of Enterprise, but now Voyager is what I want to serve, if I could. Now, as for the movies, I did rent him on YouTube, during my time watching the series online, like on Hulu. And, well, I did see according to when they came around, which like between seasons of Star Trek, Vision and Deep Space Nine. And not only that, I kind of bought them on DVD a few years ago from Amazon, and I have them with me right now. I'll show them to you. Here we have Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and yes, this is a big DVD box. It's bigger than usual ones. And here we have this disc, and here's a picture of the director, and here's a second disc. Here you go, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of God. I always say it like that because it's fun. Yeah, here's the first disc along with the booklet. The second disc as well. It's really hard to open, it's just too big. And here we go. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. And here are the images. Then of course, here's starter for the yes, the voyage home. And here's the physics. That's that idea. And yes, starter five, the final frontier. The text fell down. And here we have Star Trek 6, the undiscovered country. And the, the six movies and DVD I just showed you, there are ones featured the original cast. Now, next up, I'll show you the ones movies that have the cast from Next Generation. Here we have Star Trek Generations. Yeah, this movie kind of has, three members of the original cast, passing the torch to the next generation one. Here we have Star Trek First Contact, and this time around, the discs are like this. I mean, they're like, you don't have to open. You have Star Trek Insurrection. Have to be careful there. They do had to hold like this because one of that discs is like go down. And finally, here we have Star Trek Nemesis. And this is the final Star Trek movie that was made before J.J. Abrams. Oh, and speaking now of J.J. Abrams, I did I did see it his two movies, the Star Trek Reboot one and Into Darkness, but I didn't bother watching Star Trek Beyond in theaters because something I heard was going to be in it, which I'm not going to mention here. But yeah. And as for the other Star Trek, the new ones that came after that, well, I did not bother watching Star Trek Discovery because same reason for Beyond. And I did see the first season of Picard. I mean, I didn't watch it on a weekly basis, but I did wait for it to be available online, all episodes, first season. And well, there's a new Star Trek series called Lower Decks, but I'm not bothering. I don't think I'm bother watching it because you see, sorry, sorry, have you here again? Yeah, yes, because Trying to catch up with so many shows on weekly basis has become a hassle. So yes, I went back to watching any shows I want on my own time, and if I do decide any show is current, I just watch one episode a day. But I'm not gonna follow weekly basis because uh, it just takes too much time. But yes, I do like Star Trek. I mean, I appreciate the franchise, and they have good stories. And like I said before, Voyager is my favorite, and I'm not being paid by whoever owns the rights to the Star Trek franchise. I mean, I heard CBS or Paramount, whoever. I'm just talking about my experience with the series. So that's all I can say about Star Trek in this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.